Namaste to all. Hi everyone. It is my great honor to welcome you all to the 2021 Inaugural International EcoEthics Summit via Zoom and also via social media. We begin today's program with Dr. Maria Michael's Native American blessing. Dr. Maria Michael is a world-renowned medical intuitive channel, empath, healer, psychic, and teacher for over 40 years. She has been awarded 5 advanced degrees, including a PhD in counseling psychology. She has doctoral and postdoctoral training in neuropsychology, special education, psychoanalysis, and Jungian psychology. She is also a Lakota Navajo traditional elder and healer. She has led traditional native ceremonies and doctored alongside Lakota medicine people. She is sought out worldwide for her powerful medicine energies and healing abilities. Dr. Michael collaborates with medicinal professionals worldwide, from prestigious hospitals such as Sloan Kettering, Johns Hopkins, Harvard's Mass General, to locally, where she has ER privileges, to the Boulder Community Hospital. Now I call upon Dr. Maria Michael to give the opening blessing.
Washte. Good morning, everyone, from wherever you are around the world. We say Washte, good morning. We're going to speak some of the prayer in our language and we'll translate. We are Lakota Dine. We are a traditional healer and leader in our ways. And our people say welcome to you as well. Madhvi, beautiful job. Thank you for coordinating this and having all these wonderful speakers on at this time.
Thank you.
Tonkashila, grandfathers, Unshi, grandmothers, Unshi Maka, grandmother earth, Mini Wichoni, sacred water, all the elements of air and light, all the creepy crawlers, all the winged ones, all the ones that swim in the water, all the standstill nation, the ones you call the trees, all the four-leggeds, all the two-leggeds. Tunkashla Unshi, we ask for special blessings on this day for this wonderful inaugural summit, bringing together many people from many lands. This is what is needed at this time. We as two-leggeds have done much damage to Grandmother Earth, to Unshimaka, to Mini Wichoni, the sacred water, with fossil fuels, with fracking, with large carbon footprints, with no regard for the living being, Unshimaka, Grandmother Earth, who feeds us, who nourishes us, who gives us water and food and shelter. It is our time and our turn as two-leggeds to come together from all over the world to understand that it is our responsibility to not only shepherd the next generations that are coming up, to teach them about respect and honoring of Grandmother Earth, but for all of us to do that in every way with every breath that we take. Thank you, Tonkashila Unshi, for giving us this new day to be alive, for giving us a chance to be in service, for giving to all of us a chance to push forward this effort, not only on Madhvi's behalf, but on behalf of all the youth around the globe, so that they may have the privilege of clean water, clean air, clean soil, clean food. For food is medicine, Tonkashla Unshi, grandfathers, grandmothers. We say Wapila Tanka, we say thank you so much for this chance to be with the youth, and we ask that you help have all the ancestors of everyone who's on this prayer, on this summit. Let their ancestors join with all of our ancestors in a council gathering of ancestors, so that we may be given, all of us, the knowledge and the understanding, so that we may move forward in a good way, collaboratively, together as a united, sacred family of all living beings, so that we may protect for the next 49 generations. We say, Wopila Tanka Tonkashla, Unshi, grandfathers, grandmothers, And we ask that you walk on the right side of us, each one of us, so that we may stretch out our right hands to serve. We ask that you walk on our left side, so that we may learn how to receive. For many who are climate activists, it's about always giving and doing, but rarely receiving. We ask special prayers that when we have clarity and understanding, that you walk behind us so that you can be the wind beneath our wings, so that we may take off with the dreams and the visions that are needed for the future. And when we are tired and exhausted, we ask, and lost, and perhaps disconnected from creation, from the great mystery, we ask that you walk in front of us so that you can show us the way and illuminate the paths in front of us. And when we're too tired, grandfathers, grandmothers, we ask that you pick us up and carry us for as long as is needed to nourish our bodies, our minds, our spirit, and our hearts, and to fill Mini Wichoni, the sacred water of life, into the fountains of our bodies. And when our bodies are full with the sacred water gift from Creator, we ask that you gently put us down on the back of Grandmother Earth, so that we may not only walk gently on her back with honor and respect and integrity, but that we may also invite those who are less privileged to drink from the water of our fountain. Aho tonkashla metakuase, we are all related. Aho. Washte. Wapilatanka.
Thank you, Dr. Maria Michael. That was wonderful, and thank you for giving us a peek into your culture. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Once again, I invite you all to the inaugural International EcoEthics Summit. We have presenters registered from US, India, Bangladesh, Gambia, and Mozambique, and participants from all around the globe. I also welcome the media, Denver 7 from Colorado, US, Colorado Community Media from US, Soft Power Center from India, and CGTN Official from China. I always have believed that climate action must be fueled by insight and clarity and reach a wide audience. Hence was born the idea for the International EcoEthics Summit. Its mission is to bring together scientists, academicians, diplomats, artists, government heads, businesses, and laymen from across the globe to discuss climate change and the climate action solutions. With that in mind, I extend a very warm welcome to all our impressive think tank guests of honor. First, we have Governor of Colorado, Mr. Jared Polis. Jared Polis is an American politician, entrepreneur, and philanthropist who is 43rd Governor of Colorado. From 2009 to 2019, he was the United States Representative for Colorado's 2nd Congressional District. Polis was elected Governor of Colorado in 2018, making him the first openly gay man elected governor in the United States. Mr. Polis has also served on the Colorado State Board of Education from 2001 to 2007. Polis, a Princeton grad in 2000, legally changed his name to use his mother's name, in part to raise awareness for a fundraiser and because he simply liked it better. Polis has founded many businesses: American Information Systems, Inc., BlueMountain.com, ProFlowers.com, Jared Polis Foundation, and New America College in 3 states for at-risk students. Polis and his partner, Marlon Reyes, have a son and a daughter, and are the first same-sex first family in the United States. Polis enjoys video games such as League of Legends, and his favorite champions include Maokai and Amnivia. He couldn't be here today, but has sent a recorded message.
Thank you, Madhvi. Hello, everyone. It's my great pleasure to speak at the inaugural International EcoEthics Summit. Climate change impacts all Colorado and the world. Doing what we can do to safeguard the future of our state, our future, has never, ever been more important. This hotter, drier future isn't some distant dystopian vision, it's our present. Last year was the most devastating wildfire season on record, with over 625,000 acres burned, weeks of smoke-filled air compounding the public health crisis. Many people's property was destroyed, and many people were dislocated from their homes. These are just some of the examples of climate-induced environmental impacts that have a profound effect on our health and on our happiness. Over the past 2 years, my administration has partnered with the General Assembly of Colorado, local governments, the private sector, and a wide variety of stakeholders to advance one of the boldest and most comprehensive climate agendas in the entire nation. We secured utility commitments, ensuring that over 99% of the state's electricity is on path to reduce emissions by at least 80% by 2030, just 9 more years, becoming the first state in a decade to adopt zero-emission vehicle standards. We also recently finalized the state's greenhouse gas pollution reduction roadmap, which lays out clear actions the administration will take over the next few years to meet what we need to do to reduce our carbon emissions and clean our air. We know at this state we have a moral imperative to do everything we can to save or to solve the climate issue, while also saving livelihoods, building a just transition to all and clean and renewable energy economy with benefits for everybody. That's why the Office of Just Transition is partnering with the coal communities and workers to support job and technical training and identify transition funding to help communities achieve transition goals. We've reinforced this effort with a statewide investment fund focused on incentivizing investors to back these communities as we collaborate with them to create and implement local transition plans. As we work to advance our bold agenda, we need everyday Coloradans to help support our plans. MODV brought a request to declare April as Plastics and Styrofoam Pollution Awareness Month, and I supported that. We're also working with leaders in the General Assembly to pass a bill, which Representative Lisa Cutter will be discussing with you today, that will hopefully allow communities across our state to have restrictions and bans on how they use plastics within their borders. No action is too small to make a difference. You can opt for bikes to ride instead of run errands, use reusable materials instead of plastics, turn the lights off when you're not home, start a composting program in your school or community, and use products made from recyclable materials. I commend MODV for organizing this international summit. I wish all the panelists and attendees a great summit, and I look forward to having your partnership as we move our bold agenda forward. And thank you to all the young people taking action. Your innovation makes Colorado a better place to live, work, get an education, and raise a family. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. Yes, April is declared as Plastic and Styrofoam Pollution Awareness Month for Colorado. We have a surprise video from U.S. Congressman Mr. Ed Perlmutter.
Hi, I'm Ed Perlmutter, Congressman for the 7th Congressional District in Colorado, which includes Jefferson County and Adams County. Today, I am talking to you from Washington, D.C., to remind you that Earth Day is a very special day for all of us, because it's a time when we remember that our actions today will determine our well-being into the future for our state, our nation, and for the world. Coloradans, we enjoy the outdoors, and we are very blessed to have great public lands and a wonderful quality of life. We have the National Renewable Energy Lab, which is the finest laboratory in the world for energy efficiency and renewable energy. We've been working very hard across our state to reduce emissions and reduce our carbon footprint. And that's really the goal of all the things that the National Renewable Energy Lab does. I'm working on a piece of legislation called the Green Neighborhoods Act, and the purpose of that is to reduce our carbon footprint by using energy efficiency and renewable energy measures in construction, and especially in the development of commercial, industrial, multifamily, and retail properties. So Earth Day is a great day to remember that our actions today determine our well-being tomorrow, but every day needs to be Earth Day, because climate change and pollution are affecting our planet at an ever-accelerating rate. And these two things, climate change and pollution, definitely affect our state and affect our communities of color in even a more disproportionate way than, other people. So Earth Day, please remember it. but every day has to be Earth Day. We got to get to work, go celebrate Earth Day, but let's do whatever we can to reduce our carbon footprint. Thanks. Take it easy.
Thank you, Congressman Mr. Ed Perlmutter. Our next guest is scientist Maybach. Dr. Edward Maybach is a distinguished university professor and director of the George Mason University Center for Climate Change Communication. His research focuses on understanding and promoting public engagement in climate change. From 2011 to 2014, Dr. Maybach helped produce the third National Climate Assessment. He is a fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science and serves on the board of the Global Climate and Health Alliance. He holds a BA in psychology, master's in public health, and a PhD in communication science from Stanford University. Welcome, Dr. Maybach. The stage is yours.
Good morning, Madhvi. Thank you for inviting me today. And I come to you today from San Francisco, which is the ancestral homelands of the Ohlone and Miwok peoples. In that case, I would like you all to consider the following. We are at a very important moment in history, a moment where for the past 10,000, perhaps 12,000 years, as human civilization as people have come together in communities and built cities and created human civilization, we've lived during a time of a blessedly stable climate. Human civilization could only emerge as a result of the stability of our climate. But now the actions that we're taking to run our communities, the way in which we burn fossil fuel to create electricity and power so that we can organize our lives, these very actions are threatening the stability of our climate. Fortunately, there is something we can do about it. We can prevent the further destabilization of our climate, prevent climate change by changing the way we power our lives, power our communities. We are at the verge of something that is called the clean energy revolution. It's a very exciting moment in history because it's a moment where if we rise to this opportunity to stop powering our cities, our lives with fossil fuels, dirty energy that when we burn it pollutes our air and our water, and instead, if we make the transition to clean energy, which will prevent heat trapping pollution that is destabilizing our climate, it will allow us to to ensure the conditions that have allowed the emergence of human civilization to continue into the indefinite future. It's an opportunity for us to solve humanity's biggest problem at a time that we are also creating the conditions where humanity can evolve into its in a manner that will allow us to continue to enjoy the blessings of good health and the blessings of prosperity. Madhvi, I turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Scientist Maybach. I take great honor in welcoming Mr. Erik Solheim from Norway, now attending the summit from New Delhi, India. I call him Uncle Erik. He served as Norwegian Minister of Environment and International Development from 2005 to 12 and brought about game-changing Biodiversity Act and legislation to protect Oslo's city forests. He brought Norwegian development assistance to 1%, the highest in the world. Erik had been the executive director of UN Environment. He led the peace efforts in Sri Lanka, Nepal, Myanmar, and Sudan. Currently, he holds many positions: Senior Advisor at World Resource Institute, President of the Belt and Road Green Development Institute in Beijing, CEO of the Plastic Revolution Foundation, advisor to Singapore-based April RGE, and co-chair of TreeLion, a Singapore green blockchain company, and chairman of the board of Afroz Shah Foundation in Mumbai. Uncle Eric, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Madhvi, and thank you for bringing us together for this great conference. And was also so good to listen both to the congressman and to the governor of Colorado, and to this blessing from the indigenous community, as well as to the professor from California. Let me bring the good news. I mean, the bad news we all know. Climate change is real and happening at a very fast speed. The wildfires, as was mentioned, is one example on that. And we are destroying a lot of nature. But the good news is that in 2020, the world started to take action in a completely new way. And let me just bring in the 4 biggest nations or entities in the world. The proposal now put forward by Joe Biden in the United States for a $2.3 trillion investment in infrastructure is the greenest proposal any time made in the United States of America. By far, it's much, much greener than anything in the past. It's all about charging station for electrical vehicles, the move into solar and wind energy, to upgrading the water pipes in the poor communities of America so people are not affected by lead. It's green throughout, and whatever can be done to bring it through and expedite this in the United States will be so good for the world, and it will help the world develop all the technologies we need. Then move on to the other big power of the world, China. After President Xi Jinping said that China will be carbon neutral in 2060, we see unprecedented action all over China. And by the way, China is half of all solar energy in the world, 70% of all environment-friendly rail in the world, and there are more electric buses in the city of Shenzhen than in the entire world outside China combined. So while Europeans and Americans have a picture of China as a very polluted place, they need to revise their view and see all the enormous environment action happening in China. By the way, they just decided to stop all fishing in the Yangtze River for the next 10 years to restore the ecosystem. So good. In Europe, the European Union has launched a Green New Deal, which will completely transform the economies of Europe. And let me just give you one example. Last week, Volkswagen, Europe's biggest car company and one of the 2 biggest car companies in the world, they said, the debate is over. The electric vehicle has won. We will not produce gasoline vehicles or diesel vehicles in the future because we know that the electric engine has won the debate and the future is electric. And of course, when Volkswagen do that, it has enormous impact in Europe and, by the way, in the world, and General Motors and others are moving in the same direction. And finally, here in India, where I'm at the moment, India is going solar in an unprecedented way. India has the lowest price of solar anywhere in the world. India has the first all solar rail station, the first all solar airport in the world, and the metro in New Delhi, which is one of the biggest metros in the entire world, will very soon be charged by solar. So altogether, there are so much good news now from the US, from China, from Europe, and from India, and for sure from many other parts of the world. We just need to accelerate it and move even faster.
Thank you, Uncle Eric. Our next think tank guest is Honorable State Representative Ms. Lisa Cutter. Ms. Lisa Cutter represents House District 25 in Jefferson County, Colorado. Representative Cutter is an award-winning public relations and communications professional who has counseled nonprofit organizations in the food, banking, healthcare, law, and recreation industry. Her legislative priorities focus on issues like zero waste, wildfire mitigation and response, media literacy, First Amendment protections, education, and mental health care. She is also the co-sponsor for the plastics bill in this legislative session. She has been championing the zero waste cause for the past 2 years. My connection with her has grown beyond the plastics bill into other programs like agriculture, composting, etc. Welcome, Honorable State Representative Ms. Lisa Cutter. The stage is yours.
Madhvi, thank you so much for that lovely introduction. And I just want to say I'm so honored to be here this morning with such amazing experts. What a wonderful panel you've assembled. And it's a real honor and humbling to be here with you all. And a beautiful blessing this morning as well to start us off. I'm so inspired by the positive energy and everyone's focus on making change. That's why I became a legislator. I'm in my second term. I started in 2018. I was elected the first time. And so I've been here a little more than 2 years. And I became a legislator largely because I wanted to do something about climate change. That was one of the problems that has been.
Ms. Lisa, you're muted.
There, was I muted that whole time or did? Okay.
No, you're only muted a second.
Okay. All right. So anyway, I am really excited to be in a position to be able to do something. Sometimes it doesn't, as a legislator, and sometimes it doesn't feel like enough, but I think that's sort of the point of why we're here today, right? If we all do what we can, where we can, including all of the wonderful young people on this call, that's how we can make change. And Madhvi, you're a real inspiration that way. I think there's many ways to tackle climate change. And as you mentioned, I focused on zero waste because I think that's something that can make have a big impact. And it's an area that I think we could focus more energy on. So this year I'm sponsoring, along with my colleague Representative Alex Valdez, I'm sponsoring the Plastic Pollution Reduction Act, and that will eliminate plastic bags and styrofoam, single-use plastic bags and styrofoam, two of the most egregious forms of plastic waste, I think, in society. So it's moving through the legislature now, and we're optimistic that we'll be able to pass that. We're getting lots and lots of support from community. And I think I look forward in some of the question and answer portion, talking about that a little more, about how important it is to get that support from community and from all of you. So thank you again for having me here this morning, and I'll look forward to hearing from the other panelists.
Thank you, State Representative Ms. Lisa Cutter. Next, I take great honor in welcoming Dr. Girija Seshadri, aka Dr. GS. She was the school principal for my mom's school from K5 to K12. Can you believe that my mom and Dr. GS are still in contact to this day? Dr. GS has been in education field for over 45 years. She heads and manages 16 schools in southern India. She was the only principal to have been selected and sponsored by Government of India to go to Japan to participate in the Secondary Educators Study Program. She is the co-chairman for the Environment Committee of YHAI, New Delhi. She is a champion for Single Teacher Schools program at remote tribal and coastal areas. She successfully completed the trekking expedition to Himalayas and the pilgrimage to Mount Kailash 2 times. She has received many awards, notably the National Award Teacher of Outstanding Merit from the Honorable President of India, Dr. Abdul Kalam. She has fundraised and gifted more than $500,000 for many causes like tsunami relief, support military personnel, etc. Welcome, Dr. GS. The stage is yours.
Okay. Madhavi, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm very happy for introducing me for this international week of ecological and climate change. And there is a saying in India, you start everything at a young age. And you are here at a very young age, started to feel for the climate change, and you wanted to find out the solution, and you have involved the whole community in the world. So it's very nice, a very good attempt for you to start such a move, which will produce wonderful results when you become an advanced girl in your profession. I'm very happy to be a part of it, and also bless you with a lot of blessings to continue this great work. till as long as you can, so that to involve the whole world community as one family. There is a saying in India, Vasudhaiva Kudumbam. The whole universe is a one family. I think if all of us come together, we can definitely bring in a very good environment of this climate change will also be very positive towards us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Jess. Now we have presentations by environment groups from India, Bangladesh, Gambia, and Mozambique. First, I call upon EcoEthics India students from Arsha Vidya Mandir School in India.
Good morning and a very big namaste to all of you. Today, we the students of Ashya Vidya Mandir are going to present our view on climate action and everyone's role in it.
We are proud that our school nurtures us in developing a deep awareness of a natural environment. Right from grade 1, we have been practicing the segregation of waste through a subject called garbology. As a part of our learning, we are doing sustainable waste management practices. Our school is consciously secreting less waste towards landfills.
So what happens to the rest? Our school has a cyclic waste management system where we segregate the waste into 8 different categories, that is paper, medical, metal, mixed, glass, plastic, electronic and organic waste. The segregation of waste begins from each of our classrooms, for which we've got 3 different types of dustbins, one for each of plastic waste, paper waste and mixed waste. Organic waste generated during our school breaks and lunchtimes is collectively turned into compost in our school farm.
We students frequently visit our school farm and gain hands-on experience towards organic farming activities. We students get to lay our hand in preparing cowpat pit, which is being used as compost for the plants. This experiential learning not only helps us to know more about organic farming, but also gives us exposure to the cyclic waste management system.
Garbology is not only about waste management. It also teaches us about the conservation of resources and conscious consumerism. In our school, we use papers and booklets which are made by recycling the wheat straw waste. To reduce paper usage, our school has built in a portal system which facilitates the effective management of school resources. We also reuse the textbooks every year by using the concept of a student lending library system. This is consciously being practiced to reduce the generation of paper wastage. As we all know, plastic cannot be recycled. So it either goes to the landfills or is incinerated. But burning plastic produces a lot of toxic and greenhouse gases. In our garbology curriculum, our school has integrated the No Plastic program, which educates about the different grades of plastic and its effects. As part of our experiential learning, we consciously try to avoid using plastics in our daily life. In our school, we students are using metal bottles and lunchboxes instead of plastic ones. We are using jute cloth bags instead of plastic bags. These are a few contributions we as students of Ashya Mandir are doing towards a sustainable environment.
Okay, awesome, very impressive. Next, I call upon Mustaq A. Sagar, founder of EcoEthics Bangladesh and involved in the climate movement for the past 2 years.
He's not there.
I see that he is not here, so we'll continue.
Hello,
So,
hello,
wait.
Madhavi.
Over here. Okay, hello, Mustaq.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Mustaq, you should speak. Can you please speak to everyone?
Hello, Madhavi.
Hello. Hello, I can hear you.
Okay, I will speak 1 minute. My sir Asif Chaudhary will speak 2 minutes.
Okay.
Your okay. Uh, every day we are involved with plastic in various ways. In particular, the use of one-time use plastic, bottle, cup, plate, boxes, sponge, straw is increasing food item like fish, meat, vegetable, pulse, sugar, rasgulla, etc. Although convent is size and weight, plastic bottles are deadly to health and in the environment. Even so, winning one is still beyond the reach of the average person. The situation seems to be the age of plastic. This solution is visible not only in the city but also in the village. In particular, a few days ago, two dead whales are found floating on the uh, shores of Himsori in Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh for today in a row. The only tool to pollute seawater in a mixture of plastic waste, fishing net, well container and chemical. Therefore, we should reduce the use of plastic and recycle it. To do it would be better to stop using plastic completely. Thank you for Madhavi.
I request Asif to speak now.
Okay.
Thank you very much. This is Asif.
Asif.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay. Can you like unmute? Hello, Asif.
Yeah, hello everyone. So, good evening from Bangladesh. This is Asif Chaudhary, a faculty of. Yeah, this is Asif Chaudhary, a faculty of Coastal Studies and Disaster Management. So, I want to share some of my recent study. Very recently, in just after last high moon tide, there was we found that it's far 200 kilometer, almost 200 kilometer far from the sea, and there is a river named Kirtunkola, and there we found that much more salinity considering last 50 years. And using that saline water, some people use this for cooking, and they have their problem in ingestion of this after using. Especially they use it for cooking, and for also some people use for drinking after making disinfection these stuffs. So that is one problem, that salinity is seriously affecting this coastal area, and Bangladesh is one of the most 5 vulnerable countries towards climate change. And as I have seen that this is really creating very much problem, I am afraid that after 5 or 10 years, most of the people, because it's a highly densely populated country, we are going to face serious problem of saline water intrusion. Besides, we have some other problems. Everyone is sharing their views about plastic pollution reduction or one-time use plastic. So we, especially the Fridays for Future in Bangladesh and Brighter Society of Bangladesh, they are planning. We are thinking that we should start the youth and the adolescents. They will start. There are 64 districts in the country, and we take as a pilot project in every district. One single group will.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you, Asif. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. The next person is from EcoEthics Gambia, Mohammed Haidara.
Asifa.
Okay, yeah,
Hidara.
so take it away, Mr. Hidara.
All right. So can I continue, Mavi? I wanted to
You can continue. You can please start speaking.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mavi.
So you're mute now.
Okay, all right. Someone just muted, but it's okay. Thank you very much. I am Mohammed Haidar from Gambia. I am here with students from various schools in the Gambia here. They are also members of Gambia Ocean Heroes. I can turn the camera and maybe prefer to see them. Unfortunately, we could not have all of them to log in, but we have like most of them are here with us. Yeah, so I wanted to share our presentation slide, but it seems like maybe the time might not favor us. But Gambia Ocean Heroes are a group of volunteers that are concerned with the growing rate of pollution along the coast of the Gambia. We have been in existence since 2018, and with a collective of a lot of various civil society organizations, we were able to collect 339 tons of trash along the coast of the Gambia. So we don't only limit ourselves on big cleanup, but we also do what we call community outreach and school sensitization. That's where we have our school hub, whereby students could get to engage and understand the problem that are faced by our ocean. So Gambia Ocean Heroes also do something very important, which we call coastal survey, because we also want to quantify the amount of pollution along the coast of the River Gambia. Not only the River Gambia, but also along the coastal area too. So we have been doing that, and we always gather our data. And this is what we use to assess, and it also helps us to share with policymakers for them to understand how detrimental pollution is to the marine aquatic environment. So I go much, but I didn't introduce myself very much. I am the coordinator for Gambia Ocean Heroes, and I am a university student, a biology major, and I am so happy to be here, and thank you so much, Mari. And I would like all of us to say one thing together. I don't know whether it is too early, but like we have a slogan we used to say, be part of the solution and not the pollution. So you can all say it together later. I don't know, but I would love all of us to say it together. Be part of the solution and not the pollution. Guys, can you say one more time and then hear us? Be part of the solution and not the pollution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mohammed. Now we have Start Green Generation, aka We the Greeners. Let's give a round of applause for all the presenters and their commitment to protect our ecosystems. So now are you all ready for some great music and fun? Here come Grammy-nominated reggae legend Mr. Pato Banton and his wife Mrs. Antoinette Roots' daughter. I have been associated with them since December 2020. His wife Antoinette Roots' daughter is also a world-renowned keyboardist in the reggae industry. In 2019, they were both appointed as Goodwill Ambassadors of the Golden Rule by the United Religions Initiative Africa. Both spread the message, we are all God's children, brothers and sisters. Her most recent popular album release is titled Here Comes Roots' Daughter. Mr. Pato Banton has received many awards like the Unity Earth Keepers of the Flame Award, URI Herms Award, the Caribbean Natural Heritage Award, Las Rosas Honors. In recognition of his ability to use music as a tool to engage diverse communities with a message of peace, love, and social progress. Take it away, Pato.
Greetings, everyone. So he's on the way to the airport, but I'm going to go ahead and flip my screen so that way you guys can check out the video that he just completed this morning. All right, ready? All right, here we go. One more time.
Dawning, gather up the people, make we cease the warring now. Let's stop the gunshot, the bombing. Blood is overflowing and the earth is calling down. Yes, Mama Earth is in a state of emergency. Pollution of the air, the land and seas. The planetary ozone is like a war zone, and it affects us globally. Yes, we need a better infrastructure, renewable energy and agriculture. Plant seeds, give back to nature. We need to do it sooner rather than later. Let's get together now. Let's get together now. Let's get together now and heal this world. Yeah. Let's get together now. Let's get together now. Let's get together now and heal this world. Yeah. Hey yo, cool dog, come in my down. Yo, I'm feeling pain as deep as it can get. We can bleed and sweat. Need to give the people some respect. We ain't leaving yet. Need to get together, make it better from now until forever. Change the weather and never say never, cause we can conquer whatever we wanna do. It don't take a crew, just a little piece of me and you. There's natural solutions, we need to try them by using the alternative resources like hemp. Bless the little youth stem and guide them on their way. We can fix tomorrow for them if we recognize today. We can heal this world, I know it ain't that tough. Remember, one world is enough. Rough. Let's get together now. Let's get together now. Let's get together now and heal this world. Yeah. Let's get together now. Let's get together now. Let's get together now and heal this world.
Pollution in Colorado is in the spotlight this month, and it's all thanks to a 7-year-old who's trying to get all of us to think about the products we're using. Madhvi Chatur is a 2nd grader at Hackberry Elementary School, and it's because of her passion the governor declared April Plastic and Styrofoam Pollution Awareness Month. The proclamation encourages Coloradans to use something other than plastic or styrofoam products and suggests that people volunteer to pick up trash at least once a year.
Calling our school teachers, all Greenpeaceers, all truth preachers, and all peacekeepers, yo. We're sending out an SOS to all international leaders. Now I say, rise up, all you fallen soldiers. Stand up, unite, bring down our borders. Bless the youth with food and shelter. Stop the genocide and make life better now. We gotta start with a solid foundation based on worldwide cooperation. That's the only way to change the situation and make it better for the next generation. Join hands cause the time has come. Children of the earth, daughters and sons. No matter who you are or where you're from, creation is one, so love one another. Let's get together now. Let's get together now. Let's get together now and heal this world. Yeah. Yeah, man. Right now. Let's get together now. Let's get together now. Let's get together now and heal this world. Yeah. Creation
Thank you very much. Thank you. So
Um,
to encourage everybody, all the youth, all the young people out there to continue with the hard work that you're doing. We're going to sit there and support you 100%. Get the word out there, get the message out there for green energy, to heal this world, to make the world a better place. And you have support from all of us, so continue with the great work that you guys are doing. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Antoinette. The music was so awesome. So now to our Q&A session. Many had submitted their questions and I have consolidated the questions. I'll address the question to one person and then others can add their viewpoints to if they want to. My mom will say time, Amma will say time up and then, oh, sorry, that was okay. Anyway, so to scientist Maibach, what is climate action? How will countries like Bangladesh and coastal city like Chennai survive the effects of climate change? Do you think fossil fuel funding for a developing country is of less concern than the developed one, or are they the same?
So I would like to say that climate action is Madhvi Chitor. You, my young friend, you are the very definition of climate action, because you are, as you say, you're a ninja, a no styrofoam ninja. You're the most fierce eco-warrior that I know. And what I've learned from you, and what I hope we can all learn from you, is that our most powerful weapon in our advocacy to improve the world, to limit climate change, to end plastic pollution, our most powerful weapon is our voice. We can reach out in exactly the same way you have reached out to your governor, Governor Polis, to your congressman, Congressman Perlmutter, to your representative, and I believe your friend, Lisa Cutter, and you have convinced them all that you care deeply, and you need them to take action, because they are our elected representatives. They are the ones who have the most power in our world. And you are asking them to take the actions that will make the world a better place for all of us. So climate action is using our voice as eco-warriors, as you have done, as you continue to do, Madhvi. And I know that because you are so successful in doing it, all of us can be successful in doing it. And so there are many ways we can engage in climate action, but ultimately the most powerful is to use our voice and to invite our friends to use their voices with us. Because when we are one, we can only be so strong, but when we are many, we can be very, very strong indeed. So I would say the answer to the question, what is climate action, is to do as Madhvi does.
Thank you for the compliment. Do we have any other comments like anyone else? Okay, to Uncle Eric. How can we align ecoethics and strategic economic development among different organizations in the world and in Africa in particular?
The most important is to understand that we are in a completely new situation compared to the past, because in the past there was just one way really to develop and to get out of poverty. And that pathway was used in the United States, in Europe, in Japan, in China. And it was basically first you pollute and then you clean up. First you have fast development based on coal and fossil fuels, and then later you start cleaning up all the problems you have made. But that is the past, because now you can have rapid economic development, bringing everyone out of poverty, make every citizen in the world, every child in the world, bring them to school, make sure everyone has health, that we have rapid economic development while taking care of Mother Earth at the same time. And the reason why that's possible is that now have we all the win-win policies, which are good for jobs and prosperity and good for the environment at the same time. So that is the answer to this. In the past, there was a choice between Mother Earth and development. There is no such choice any longer. Solar energy is now the cheapest energy everywhere in the world. So if you go solar, you save money, you create jobs, and you take good care of nature and Mother Earth. So that's the answer, win-win. Let's look for every place where we can have do what's good for ecology and good for the economy at the same time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Uncle Eric. To Ms. Lisa Cutter, how can governments push climate emergency? Are they even doing it?
Thank you, Matvi. Thank you for that question. I think some governments are doing it better than other governments. I think there's many, many ways that we can tackle this problem. And first, I want to say I agree completely with Dr. Maybach in saying that your voice is so important. And before I talk about governments, I just want to amplify that. I just want you to know that governments derive their power from you, from people. So I only have power because you gave it to me. So, and not as much power as you'd think sometimes, but that is really, really important that we feel the advocacy, that we hear your voices behind us. That's what drives people in government to get things done and to make change. So some governments are doing things, and here in Colorado, I talked a little bit about the Plastic Pollution Reduction Act, which you've been so supportive of, and a great cheerleader and advocate for that. And I'm grateful. So we're really hopeful for that. There's also a law in a national law that they're working on right now that has been introduced. And I think, I'm gonna make sure I say it right. I think it's HR 5845, the Break Free from Plastic Pollution Act. And it, you guys may be familiar with that. It takes major steps to reduce our reliance on plastic. So there's lots of things that governments can do: reduce carbon emissions, incentivize recycling, and other programs incentivize innovation. Hearing from some of your speakers, Mr. Solheim, about all the really cool things that are going on around the world. That's what governments can do. They can look for those solutions. Lots of times, there's really powerful special interests that have big voices and a lot of money, but we can overcome, and that do influence government action and make it difficult for us to get things done sometimes. So we can overcome those things with all of you. I cannot emphasize that enough. And so I'm just so grateful for all of your work and all of the great work being done by all of the people on this call. It's really inspiring me as a part of government to continue to push and create solutions for the climate emergency. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So to Dr. GS, how do you see women championing the fight against climate change? To Mr. Pato or Antoinette, what role can artists take to influence and fight climate change?
Thank you for that question. I think that as an artist's responsibility, I think that we have a responsibility towards our community. And we know that when we're dealing with young people, as far as particular for me, that when I came into music, I realized that that was something, if I wasn't listening to my parents or my teachers, I was influenced heavily by the music of our generation. And that music was hip music. So I feel that music that is reaching out to the young people, that's something that they are interested in because it has a popular beat. It's something within our generation that is something that is positive, that will inspire the same people in my age group as well too, that we can also bring awareness. So I think that we can sing about a lot of different things. We can sing about love. We can sing about our problems that we have, growing up. We can sing about different things, but since this is a passion of yours, is the environment and your own future for your own children. So this is something that's passionate about you. So I would encourage all the other musicians and artists always to sit there and get behind the youth, to sit there and think about that this is not just about our time, but also the time for the future, for future generations, that we want to live in a better climate. We want to live in a better environment, that we don't want to live in pollution and we don't want to live in certain things. So I think it is a duty of many artists and entertainers to sit there and use their voice for good and to encourage other people and to make music for the young people so that way they can share it as well too. So that's a responsibility I think that we all have. Thank you.
Thank you, Antoinette. I see that Dr. GS is back, so I'm gonna ask her that question again. How do you see women championing the fight against climate change?
Madhavi, do you specifically say only women or all? It should be all. Everyone should come together. Everyone should come together for the climate change. Not
That
women
is
alone.
true. Not women alone, but how can women specifically help for this? These questions are all from the audience.
Everything starts from home. No, if women start from home, all the measures towards climate change and how to follow it up the way, then the rest of the people will follow it. And see, in our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, has already requested everyone not to use the plastics, especially the toys and the dolls that were made of plastics should be avoided. If we avoid those things, then we can slowly start. The changes in the climate can be reduced and we can enhance good climate changes.
Thank you, Dr. GS. Yes. Okay. To Dr. Maria Michael, what role do indigenous communities play in fighting against climate change? Give an example.
We feel, you can put us on. Indigenous communities. Are we on, Madhvi?
Yes, I can hear you. You're on.
Indigenous communities can play a huge role. Wherever indigenous communities have been, whether they're here in the United States or abroad, we were all indigenous at one time. We all lived off the land, but many have forgotten. Non-indigenous people have forgotten how to live in community, in respect, and in a way that we live commensurately and collaboratively with all living beings. Indigenous communities here in the United States know that this concept of leave no trace behind, wherever you go, that you leave nothing behind of humankind so that the natural order and progression of Grandmother Earth can continue. And so there's this love and understanding that we are all related, that every thought, every action, everything that we do has an impact on everything, every other living being. And so it's really important so that we help our children, we help each other to understand that the earth is a gift to us. We don't inherit the earth from our ancestors, as Chief Joseph said, we inherit it from our children. And so it is our responsibility as an indigenous population to help people remember that we are all related. We are all related. And when we stop thinking like that, the impact of everything each one of us does, we don't see the bigger picture. Just like in this pandemic, everything we do impacts another. And it's the same thing with Grandmother Earth. It's about treating her with a level of dignity and respect and integrity and an understanding that without her, we cease to exist. And she gives us limitless love all the time, giving us food and water and shelter. And she needs and deserves the same respect back from each and every one of us. And so that's really important. And in the indigenous culture, there's that circle of life that never stops. So we are just one spoke on that wheel, that circle of life, and Grandmother Earth
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Maria Michael. um, Scientist Maybach, how can organizations get easy access to funding to do large-scale climate action operation from Africa?
I don't know how we can get easy access to funding, but I do know how we can get access to funding, and that is, again, by using our voice. We can only People will only give us funding if we ask them for it. And so again, this is an important way that we can use our voice. Sometimes we have to ask lots of different people or lots of different organizations to help us do good things. But sometimes we don't need funding at all. So Madhvi, I want to again compliment you and shine a light on the important work that you're doing, because I know you and your mother have shared with me your plans to host a very large recycling event in Denver, an event that many, many thousands of elementary school children will soon be participating in. And I don't believe you spent any money to organize that. I think you used only your voice to invite elementary school students all across the Denver area to join you in doing something important. And I believe that thousands, maybe tens of thousands of students will be joining you on that day. And that didn't cost anything. So rather than get hung up on worrying about how can we raise money, I think it's more important that we just start taking action by doing the right thing and by asking people to join us and do the right thing with us.
Thank you, Scientist Maybach. Uncle Eric, what will be the next move and plan if coronavirus increases along with climate change?
I think we have learned some very important lessons from the coronavirus. One was that leadership matters. Those nations who had very good leadership, I mean, New Zealand and Australia are examples, South Korea, Singapore, China, they have a very, very, very low number of dead people, while some other nations have had skyrocketing number of coronavirus cases. And we should learn that lessons also for climate change. Leadership matters. When we elect good leaders, please always vote for green and good candidates in whatever nation you are and support them, because leadership matters. When you have good leadership, you can solve corona, but you can also solve climate change. And another lesson, nature bounces back. We have seen fantastic developments under corona when we didn't impact so much on nature. There were penguins walking down the streets of Cape Town in South Africa. They were deer coming back in the big cities of Japan, bear coming back in big cities in Europe, and in the great American national parks like in Colorado and others. People spoke about the wildlife party, because the wildlife had a party when we didn't interfere. And here in India, where I'm now, in some of the big cities in northern India, for the first time, people could see the Himalayas. For 20 years, they could not see the Himalayas because of pollution. And these enormously beautiful mountains were not all of a sudden visible. But the lessons here is very, very important. Wildlife will come back if we just stop harming the planet. Nature, Mother Earth will rebound in a very, very fantastic manner. So let's stop harming and it will come back.
Thank you, Uncle. Okay, to Ms. Lisa Cutter, what kind of role can social organizations play in preventing plastic pollution?
Thank you, Madhvi. Well, you're doing it right now. Social organizations, because that's sort of what you have, right? You're again, using your voice, you're out there advocating. Social organizations can advocate by writing letters and reaching out to your elected officials, by doing big events and media things. Raising awareness is a huge, huge thing. You can encourage practices and share that with other people. You're an influencer. All of us are influencers in our own circles, right? The people that you have in your life, they hold respect for you, for each of you on this call. So if you do the right thing and show other people how to do the right thing, that's a terrific way to create change. For example, I was thinking a lot about students and all. Students like you, Madhvi, and all the young people on this call right now really motivate me and to do the right thing. And I know my kids did. Think about it. When you get something that you're passionate about, you go home and tell your parents, and they probably change, right? Has everyone had that experience? I know my kids have influenced me to do a lot. We're eating mostly plant-based now because my kids they're very strict vegans, and we're not there yet, but we're working on it. But they're very passionate, right? And so that influence is so important. And I think it's easy to look and think, oh, what impact can we make in a big sense? But it's the little things. It's the impact you make in your own world, in your own circles of influence, like convening all these people here today, all the great projects that we heard about. Those things are ripple effects. And sometimes it can be frustrating that I don't feel like we can ever do enough. But we all are doing enough. We're doing exactly what we can right here and now, and we're going to influence people. I also want to say that Dr. Michael and talking, that it just was so inspirational, just the way we need to treat our earth and our planet, and sharing that kind of ethos and talking to people about that kind of thing, I think is really important. We need to shift our culture from one of entitlement to one of responsibility, such as the indigenous people. We have a responsibility to our earth and to our communities and the people we share this planet with, to take care of the planet and take care of one another. So just by doing those things and by reaching out and using your voice, that's the way we're all gonna make change. That's the biggest way social organizations can make an impact.
Okay, thank you. We have time for one more question. Dr. GS, what do you think children and students can do for preventing global warming and pollution?
Madhvi, it's a very good question that you have asked me, that if the schools could create an awareness among the students through activities and also having projects, and then to conduct exhibitions for the children to come with newer ideas of all these things, I think it will be a very great step towards this climate change, and also the use of the plastics, and the environment will be very good. Conducting a lot of exhibitions and then calling for the competitions and then debates, all these will help a lot to create an awareness. And above all, if we take up some mass programs of joining together and creating an awareness locality by locality, starting from that to the national level, then it will create a revolution. That is what I feel. Not just a step we are taking ahead, but we are creating or infusing a revolution for the whole world to see that it is their duty to maintain the climate change. That thought should be instilled in every person, then it becomes a success.
Thank you. So I thank all guests of honor for their very inspiring words, and presenters from different countries, and each and every one of you for participating in this summit. I hope all are equipped with some knowledge about what climate action is, and we engage in our respective communities to protect our only home planet Earth. So now we have a final ending prayer from Dr. Maria Michael.
For 1 minute.
Yeah, just for 1 minute.
Can you put me on the screen, Madhvi? The main screen, so they can see.
You are there. You are there.
Donkashla, Unshi, grandfathers, grandmothers. Unshimaka, grandmother earth. Miniwichoni, sacred water. all the elements of air and light, all the creepy crawlers, all the ones that swim in the water, all the standstill nation, you call them the trees, all the Tonkayate, the stone nation, all the Petawaka, the sacred fires that burn on all the altars, all the winged ones, all the four-leggeds and all the two-leggeds. We say Wopila Tanka, many blessings and many thank yous to each and every human two-legged who was on this call, to Madhvi and to her mother Lalitha for creating this. We ask Tonkashala Unshi, grandfather, grandmothers, that you will hear the prayers in each and every being's heart so that we can create a world that is clean for the next 49 generations, and that you will help the youth wake up, the adults and the elders can work with the youth, and there can be a real circle of life that can move forward so that we can stop all of the pollution, all of the oil and gas, all of the fracking, all the carbon footprints, all the ways that we can return Grandmother Earth back to her nature so that she doesn't need to go through serious cleansings in the ways that she does in order to take out all this pollution out of her body. Help us to walk on her back with sacred respect, integrity, love, kindness, and compassion. Help us to treat her as a living relative, the way we would want to be treated. And help us remember that without her, no one is alive. No one stays alive. It is her right to be alive, and it is our responsibility to let go of privilege and support her life in all ways and the ways that we can. Aho tankashala metakyo ase. Aho.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining this summit. Thank you, guests of honor. And so, bye everyone.
Bye. So inspired. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madhvi.
Bye.
Thank you all so much, Madhavi.
Thank you all.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you all, Madhavi.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madhavi.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Madhavi.